So, what if the Sorting Hat had chosen differently? You know the story of Harry Potter, the hero of Gryffindor, but what if one single word from that dusty old hat rewrote his entire destiny? We think of Harry as the brave, daring hero, but the hat saw so much more in him. It saw ambition, it saw a brilliant mind, and it saw a deep, unwavering loyalty. So how would a cunning Slytherin Harry have outsmarted the Dark Lord? How would a genius Ravenclaw Harry have unraveled his darkest secrets? And how would a loyal Hufflepuff Harry have united the entire wizarding world against him? Today, let's explore the three alternate fates of the Chosen One. Alright, let's dive into the first path, and maybe the most tempting one, Slytherin. The Sorting Hat itself said he'd do well there. I mean, can you just picture the Great Hall falling silent as the hat screams, "Slytherin!" Harry, confused but determined, walks over to the table of green and silver. And the welcome? It's cold. To them, he's the boy who vanquished their parents' master, and now he's supposed to be one of them. This isn't a world of instant friends, it's a world of strategic alliances. From day one, Slytherin Harry would be different. Growing up with the Dursleys made him tough, sure, but the Slytherin common room, that would make him a master strategist. He'd learn that real power isn't just about spells, it's about influence, information, and control. His rivalry with Draco Malfoy would shift from simple schoolyard squabbles into a complex political chess match. They'd never be friends in the usual sense, but they might just become necessary allies. Harry, who grew up an outcast, would look at Draco and see not just a bully, but a boy crushed by the weight of his father's expectations. And his relationship with the teachers? Completely different. Think about Snape. He would be torn. That hatred for James Potter would still be burning, but it would clash with a fierce loyalty to his own house. This might turn Snape into a harsh, reluctant mentor, pushing Harry not from spite, but to ensure a Slytherin succeeds where others fail. Dumbledore's advice would be met with deep suspicion. A Slytherin Harry wouldn't trust blindly, he'd question every motive, seeing the headmaster not as a kindly guide, but as a grandmaster moving his pieces across the board. So how would he take on Voldemort? Not with brave, head-on attacks, that's for sure. The race for the Philosopher's Stone wouldn't be a heroic sprint through a trapdoor. It would be a calculated mission to figure out what the stone does and who else wants it. The Chamber of Secrets would be a defining moment. Being a Parselmouth would immediately mark him as the heir of Slytherin, but instead of fighting the rumors, he'd use them. He'd leverage the fear and respect it gave him to secure his place in the house, all while secretly hunting the basilisk on his own terms. The Horcrux hunt would become an intelligence operation. He'd gather secrets, manipulate Voldemort's own followers for information, and dismantle the Dark Lord's power base from the inside out. He would learn what other Slytherins like Regulus, Black, and Snape already knew, that sometimes heroism is a quiet, cunning, and very lonely path. The final battle wouldn't be a glorious last stand. It would be a shadow war, ending in a political and magical checkmate that proves a Slytherin's ambition, when turned against the dark, is a weapon more powerful than any curse. But what if it wasn't ambition the Sorting Hat honed in on? What if it was Harry's sharp, curious mind? What if the hat had yelled Ravenclaw? Sorted into the house of wit and learning, Harry would find a completely different kind of home, one built on books, riddles, and the endless search for answers. As a student, this Ravenclaw Harry would be a force to be reckoned with. He and Hermione wouldn't just be friends, they'd be intellectual rivals, racing each other through the library's most ancient texts. Ron might still be in the picture, but probably from a distance, just completely baffled by their hunger for research. This Harry would see every single challenge as a puzzle to be solved. The Philosopher's Stone? He'd have figured out who Nicola Flamel was in the first month just by hitting the books. The Chamber of Secrets would become a historical and linguistic mystery, solved by digging through ancient texts instead of following spiders. His defining trait wouldn't be courage, it would be creativity. He would think outside the box, treating magic not just as a tool, but as a science to be tested and perfected. The war against Voldemort would become an intellectual quest. Dumbledore wouldn't need to lead him through memories one by one. Driven by the need to understand why, Ravenclaw Harry would have started researching Tom Riddle's past all on his own. He wouldn't need a guided tour to find the Horcruxes. He'd have discovered them through a meticulous, scholarly investigation into the darkest forms of magic, logically deducing that Voldemort would use items from the Hogwarts founders. Instead of just relying on Expelliarmus, this Harry might invent new spells, find loopholes in ancient magic, and create defenses that Voldemort, in his arrogance, could never see coming. His version of Dumbledore's army would be less about raw defiance and more like an advanced study group where he'd be a brilliant teacher sharing innovative strategies and a deep understanding of magical theory. The final showdown would be a true battle of wits. He'd defeat Voldemort not by overpowering him, but by outsmarting him. He would understand the magic of love and sacrifice not just as an emotion, but as a real theoretical branch of magic that Voldemort could never grasp. His victory would prove that the greatest power isn't brute force, it's knowledge, and a brilliant mind can be the most dangerous weapon of all. Okay, so we've seen cunning and we've seen intellect, but what about the path tied to the most overlooked and maybe the most powerful virtue of all, loyalty? What if the Sorting Hat saw a boy who desperately wanted a place to belong and placed him in Hufflepuff? Imagine him in that cozy common room near the kitchens. There, Harry wouldn't be the boy who lived, he'd just be Harry. For a kid who grew up in a cupboard, the unconditional acceptance of Hufflepuff would change everything. Here, his worth wouldn't come from his fame or his talent for breaking rules, but from his kindness, his hard work, and his loyalty to his friends. A Hufflepuff. Harry would build bridges, not walls. His circle of friends would be huge and diverse, stretching across all 4 houses. He'd live by the Hufflepuff values of fairness and hard work. During the Triwizard Tournament, his first instinct would have been to team up with Cedric Diggory from the very start. The tournament would have been less about competition and more about teamwork and genuine inter-school unity. And that nasty Potter Stinks badge campaign? It probably would have never even gotten off the ground. Hufflepuff would have just been proud to have 2 champions. His style of leadership would be completely different. Dumbledore's army wouldn't have been a secret rebel group. It would have been a community movement, a Hufflepuff. Harry leads with empathy, not authority. He inspires people through his actions, not his reputation. He would build a grassroots resistance founded on trust and a shared belief in doing what's right. When people suspected he was the heir of Slytherin, his housemates would have surrounded him with support, not suspicion. This, Harry's greatest weapon against Voldemort, would be his ability to bring people together. He would prove that the best defense against an ideology that wants to divide everyone is a community that refuses to break. There's a reason Hufflepuff has produced the fewest dark wizards. Their core values are the exact opposite of the selfishness that fuels dark magic. Harry would be the ultimate example of this. His fight wouldn't be a solo hero's quest, it would be a collective stand. The final battle of Hogwarts would say it all. When the call to fight came, the Hufflepuffs stayed in numbers, second only to Gryffindor. Led by a Hufflepuff Harry, that stand would have been an incredible symbol. It would show that true courage isn't about being fearless, it's about choosing to stand together for what's right, no matter what. His victory wouldn't be the triumph of a single hero, but the victory of an entire community bound by loyalty and love. So there you have it. 3 different Harrys, 3 different paths to victory. The Slytherin strategist who took down an empire from the inside, the Ravenclaw scholar who beat darkness with pure brilliance, and the Hufflepuff unifier who built an army of loyal friends. Each one is a total rewrite of the story we know, but they all end with the same truth. It's not our abilities that show what we truly are, it's our choices. But now I have to ask you, which Harry do you think would have beaten Voldemort the most effectively? The strategist, the scholar, or the unifier? Let me know what you think in the comments. And if you enjoyed this trip through the Wizarding World's what-ifs, don't forget to subscribe for more adventures. What alternate story should we explore next?